Hello everyone. You know what? I just thought I would do a little video on preparing your canvas or painting surface before you paint. And what I have here is I have what's called a canvas panel, and it's basically like canvas but thin. It's thinner here. And it takes up less room if you don't have a lot of space than a traditional stretched canvas. Now, some people prefer painting on a stretched canvas, but regardless if it's a canvas panel or a stretched canvas, it's always best, even if it says that it's pre-gessoed. And what's gesso? Gesso is a medium that's acrylic based that you put or is applied to a canvas so that the paint, it has a surface that you can paint on. It seals the canvas and also allows the paint to adhere better than just painting on raw canvas, which would take more paint too. It neutralizes the surface, makes it white or black depending on the color. You can actually get colored gessos too in other colors. So the traditional gesso is white gesso, and I have some here that I've used over time. So even if it says the canvas is gessoed, it's always best to apply one more or two more coats of gesso, at least one, because it just makes sure that the surface, even if it might have grease prints or something, like if you're doing acrylic, if you get your fingerprints on there, or somebody at the factory got their fingerprints, sometimes you'll notice there'll be an area where the acrylic paint won't adhere too well. That's because there's a little bit of finger oil on the canvas. So it just assures that you have a good clean surface, and sometimes by gessoing it, it also makes the weave smoother because you're filling in those gaps of the weave of the canvas. So don't ever use your regular brushes, your artist brushes, for example. Don't ever use your regular oil painting brushes to do the gesso, because gesso can mess up your brushes. It's acrylic based medium, and you don't want to use oil paint brushes with acrylic base mediums. Sorry, I'm swinging that around. So use something disposable. You could probably use these several times, like a foam brush. You can get a pack of these for $1 at a dollar store, and they come with multiple sizes or multiple brushes. So use a foam base, something like that, something disposable to apply the gesso. And once it's fully dry, then you know you have a good sound surface to be able to paint on, whether it be acrylic or oil paint. Keep in mind, you cannot paint acrylic over oil. So, but you can paint oil paint over acrylic. Keep that in mind. Okay. Now this is for acrylic painter, or for oil painters. I'm going to suggest, if you're going to do skies and water, this is for oil paint, people who are doing oil painting. There are things you can apply after the gesso is fully dried and you're ready to actually start your painting. There are mediums that you can use that help you blend, because usually a canvas is dry and it's hard to blend skies or water. So there are things like, for example, this is a Bob Ross brand. It's called Liquid White. And basically it's an oil-based paint that it's specially made to be a base coat to help you blend. Now, I want to let you know that these kind of mediums will last you an awful long time. There are other brands out there of this kind of medium, and you do not want to use much of it. You apply it liberally. Don't over apply it, and if it's too much, you can just use a paper towel and remove it. If you put out too much liquid white or that base medium on there, you should just have a little stain of white when you touch the canvas, a little stain of white on your finger. It doesn't take a lot, because it'll get too wet, and then things won't work out right. You'll have a muddy mess. You'll start painting wet on wet, and that just won't look good. So it's best to use less than more. You can always apply more, but don't apply too much. They also have it in a clear version, so it's liquid clear. It's the same thing without the white medium in it, or white paint in it. If you do not have either of those things, there is a alternate. This came in a plein air painting kit, and it's just called linseed oil. You can use that if you don't have liquid clear. You can use this instead. Again, when you apply it, don't apply a ton of it. Just apply enough that there's kind of a little bit of a sheen on the canvas. That's all you need. So linseed oil can be an alternative to liquid clear. Now, when it comes to acrylic painting, sometimes, because it's water-based, sometimes what people will do, they'll mist their canvas. They'll just take it and they'll mist it like this and put a fine mist on it. Now, if you notice, it beads up here, and you don't want that. You don't want too much wet in one place. So again, if you have too much wetness, it's best to just kind of take a towel and take the excess drips off. You know, try to remove the extra water. You don't want too much water because it'll thin the paint down too much. So I have two kinds of misters. I have this big one, which doesn't do as fine a mist, and then I have this little tiny baby mister, and it actually does a really fine mist, and I like it better because it doesn't apply too much water at any one time. And that helps you blend like your background skies and gradients where you're trying to blend like a gradient sky or something like that. Or if you're trying to do clouds and you just want to, like the paint is too dry and you want to blend darker tones and lighter tones. So that's pretty much it, and always make sure you have plenty of paper towels on hand, okay? Because you're going to use that often to wipe your brushes and so forth. So, like I said, don't apply too much of the base coat, and it's always best to use less paint than more paint. So I sure hope that helps you. I'll try to do these videos or tip videos a little more often if I can. And anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.